So in our last video, we talked about textures a little bit, about how to use the cobblestone texture and basically what each of the maps does for metallic displacement, roughness, things like that, right? But we didn't really touch on their compression method and what you should be using every time in order to get the right result. Otherwise, your textures would be looking odd, or you might get errors, you might get more performance cost, or just simply more disk size being used because you're just not using the right format. Now this applies to the Surface Forge, but it also applies to pretty much any other shader that you'd be making in Unreal Engine. So I just want to give you the tips of what to follow. So in this example map, I'm just going to look at this walls shanty, which is the wall that you're seeing displayed right here in the viewport. I've got it opened and I'm going to scroll down to material A. Okay, we're going to look at these textures that are being used here. We have an albedo, a normal map, and an ORD map. Now, for people who don't know, an ORD map is a packed map, meaning that there's 3 different textures inside one. The normal is just one texture inside using 2 channels, even though it looks like RGB is actually computed. And then the albedo is using 3 channels, which is the red, green, and blue. RGB. Okay, so when we look at the albedo and we double click it and we open this texture, let me just put it over here so we can see it quite big. What you'll notice is that this is an sRGB texture, meaning that it's actually got color data and its source is an sRGB gamma color space. This is very important because this is actually going to be one of the very few textures that you would be using as an sRGB. Other examples could be for things like subsurface scattering, or maybe you just have another different colored texture that you need for something, but sRGB usually would be off by default. Now, in terms of its formats, its compression settings, this is currently set to BC1. You could look at all the other BC, like you could use like a BC7, you could even use an HDR compressed or, other formats. But basically, for the most efficient in terms of compression size, you'd actually want to use this BC1. If you, for example, change to a BC7, if you look at the texture right now, the resource size has now doubled. It's actually 21 megabytes as opposed to 10 megabytes that it used to be. So you don't need to use this as a BC7. BC7 is an overkill. You'd want to use this as a BC1. Let me just explain to you now what these BC1, BC, I believe the next one would be, BC4, BC5, and then BC7. Let me just explain to you these compressions before we move on, just so you can kind of get a grip on what that means. So here we have an overview of what BC1 stands for. It also known as DXT1, and it's in RGB color space, right? It's got a optional 1-bit alpha. You can't actually use an alpha with this. It has to be like, if you want to use alpha, you'd want to go for BC7 predominantly. So this is mainly for plain albedos. So there's no alpha needed on this. It's a lossy quality, can band on gradients, right? And you never want to use this for packed data because the blue channel takes the worst loss of information out of all the channels. And this is where most color textures land when you import them in Unreal Engine as a default, okay? Then you have BC4. This is a 1-channel grayscale. So let's say you have, I don't know, maybe like a roughness map, right? That will be very good for this one if that roughness map is in all 3 channels, the RGB channel, or just one. It will just read 1 channel anyway. So this is actually quite good if you have like one roughness texture or a metallic texture or something like that. You want to keep it as BC4. It's high for, quality is high for a single channel. It's got standalone roughness, height, right? A one-off height or AO map on its own works just fine. So for example, we use that in Surface Forge if we have something like that. I will show you as an example. It only carries 1 channel, right? No color. There's no color data here, just simple data like roughness, metallic, or displacement, or height, if you want to call it, right? Then you've got BC5. This is what we use for normals. It's a 2-channel approach, X and Y. It's basically high quality built for normals, right? You'll be using this 95% of the time for normals, actually even more. Like, I think all normals will just be in BC5, right? So every normal you feed a layer with will be a BC5. And Unreal Engine stores the RNG channel information and rebuilds blue in the shader automatically, so it makes it cheaper, right? So there's no, as I said, the blue channel is not being used. It's just going to be a flat sort of color that Unreal Engine will be reading. In terms of BC7, this is the high quality format that you want to use. This is generally if you want to have an RGB and an alpha, right? This is highest quality in terms of like less artifacts than the BC1, that's for sure. It's very good for hero assets, right? And for albedo and even for normals. And definitely use every pack data with this format. So an ORD, like occlusion, roughness, displacement, packed map, will definitely be using BC7. There are other formats that you can use, but I definitely recommend using BC7 for the best quality. This is definitely the largest format, I think, on disk, but it's worth it for packed and hero maps because you know, even though it's the largest compression, it says like it takes the most amount of it's like the lowest compression. It takes quite a high amount of disk space and possibly even like VRAM, but that's dependent on other settings as well. It also allows you to store 3 different textures on one. I mean, even on the alpha channel, you can store another one, so you can really do 4 if you really wanted to, depending on if you have that knowledge or not. But this is the overview that I wanted to give you, and this hopefully will shed some more light onto this topic. Now back into Unreal Engine, we want to talk about this sRGB again. Just make sure that you understand that whatever sort of texture needs to have color information, it will need sRGB on. But if you're doing this, let's say for an ORD map, like sRGB would be on, or for a normal map, they will be gamma corrected, which means that roughness will read wrong, the normals will read wrong. You're just going to have the wrong kind of effect. So it might not be immediately visible or might not even be noticeable, but depending on the textures and the effects on them, it might become quite noticeable. So again, as a rule of thumb, you want to do this with sRGB on, but then if you look at, let me just check another different texture, right? If we open this normal, for example, then this normal has sRGB off, which is the right way to go about it. Just bear in mind that if you look at this information, you can see you can't even disable the blue channel there. You've got, this is the G channel, this is the red channel, right? And again, we're not using color information here for this. We're using it as data. And then if I look for the other texture, which is this ORD, again, the ORD has this RGB off, right? This will automatically, because it's BC, I mean, right now it's set to BC1, put it to BC7, and this will automatically, with sRGB off and BC7, this will read as a linear color, which is what we want for an ORD texture. Now we will be covering virtual textures in a different video, right? So VT is not enabled for now. We don't want to talk about virtual textures right now. We will talk in a future module about this. But just importantly to know, the Surface Forge does come with a variant of each texture as a virtual texture as well, because you might want to use those. You know, we're going to talk about the benefits of that later on to understand why that's important. But now moving on to you know, what we need to look at the sampler, which is the next thing to worry about. If we actually open the material main shader of the Surface Forge, which is this function here, this function will contain every texture that can be loaded, and then also the sampler type. So if we look at the albedo, this is the texture object that loads the texture, right? And right now you can see one of them is set to color and the other one is set to virtual color if it's a virtual texture. And if we go down, right, this is a virtual linear color and this is a linear color, because metallic is going to be a data texture. If we go further down to ORD, the same thing, virtual linear color and linear color, because like I've said, this is data, not color. We're not interested in color, we're interested in data. If we double click this texture to open it, right, you'll notice that it's got sRGB off and it's using BC7. But let me show you, if I actually change this maybe to, well, I don't know, mask maybe, right? See, Surface Forge now gives us an error because it says the sampler type is linear color, should be masks. And the reason why it's saying that is because our sampler is set to linear color, but the texture is now set as a mask, and a mask does not work in a linear color. So what you really want, I mean, you could change this to a mask and then you eliminate the error, but then you're not using the proper type of data for the rest of this information. And these over here, these samplers that are a sort of like a result of the texture object that we're feeding into this whole block of information, these are also set to linear color still. You will possibly get some errors further down the line if you apply this shader. So if you apply this shader and you want to go back into here, right, you're going to notice that all of a sudden the surface forge has now gone into error. And that's because if we open this material that we had for the walls and we go over into, well, we can go to window and we can open the stats, right? Actually, I don't know if the stats is the one. Let me, oh, sorry, platform stats. There we go, right? So if you open the platform stats, you'll now notice there's a bunch of errors that have now showed up in here. And what these errors are saying is basically it's expecting linear color, or sorry, it's expecting masks now, but it's got the samplers set as linear color. So you're going to get all these errors because you've now created a problem. So if you get new textures from Unreal Engine like Megascans or whatever, and you start getting these errors, that means that the textures are not in the right format. But if we go back to this A, see how many errors we have in here right now, like a whole stack of problems. If we change this from masks to BC7 and we now save, then all of a sudden all of these problems have been resolved. Now you can see that the material is still showing errors even though everything is back to normal. What you want to do is you just want to go in here and just disable an option and enable it again. The material will then do its full checks again and everything is fine. Okay, it's now working as intended. Now, one other thing that you might do in here, if you go back to that texture, again, you'll have to close it in order for all these errors to disappear. But you could change this to a BC1, and then you can go back into the Surface Forge, and there's no error. And then on the MF in here, there's no error. And then over here, there's no problem either, right? Because we're using a texture that can still read as a linear color. It's not a problem, okay? BC1 and BC7 have that in common. BC7 is just a higher level, option than BC1. But for me, for the highest quality, I'm going to use BC7. And that overall means that I'm getting the best quality on roughness, roughness, ambient occlusion, and displacement. So the bottom line is that what you want to do is follow the material instances in the material shader in Surface Forge in order to make sure that all of your textures will work. We will be discussing about importing textures and packing them in a future video in terms of how to use the texture graph and how to get them from Quixel and how to use them in such a way that you're not going to have any headaches. But as I said, if you follow the formats, all you really need to do is just look at the example in material instances, or you can open the main shader and then go in the material function. And then you look at these textures, you can double click them and see what settings they've got in their own texture pool settings in here, like, sRGB on or off, what type of compression, what type of texture group, which again, texture group is another thing that normally you just want to keep everything to world rather than anything else. So most textures will just import, as they should be as world or world normal map. So that's not a problem. A lot of this stuff is automatic, by the way, so you don't really have to worry about it. But there are cases in which it just won't work. The texture that you got just won't work and you won't know why, and you're going to get errors. And hopefully this video has shined some light on it. If you enjoyed the Surface Forge, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to help the channel, please consider looking at the Surface Forge, leaving a review if you already got it. If not, give it a shot, especially on Patreon. For the price of a coffee, you can get access to it and then see if it's for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.